Good evening, Randomania! Hope everybody is having a reasonable enough Monday evening. But if not, then things should be getting better shortly because we've got some Final Fantasy IV free enterprise randomizer. I'm excited because I get to do this with my friend Z-Man. How are you tonight?
I am doing well, my friend. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, I mean, how can you not enjoy it? Not only do we have free enterprise action here tonight, but this is our first broadcast where we get to officially say that this will be an RPG limit break. It was one of the accepted games, so we get another showcase race coming up for that, and that's exciting.
Yes, it is. Congratulations to everybody involved in that submission. That's awesome. So not only did we get into AGDQ, now we're in RPG Limit Break. Things are absolutely looking fantastic for this randomizer community, and I couldn't be prouder to be a part of it. This is just amazing time.
So many people have done so much great work, and tonight we have great work being done by Conkers, our restreamer, and Maggie, our tracker, so we'll give them a shout out right at the top. Four of the great runners featured tonight. We got Poitrak, we got Simbu, Moonblaze Wolf, Cat Sith. Great people. We're excited for that. Let's talk a little bit about these flags. So, first thing we notice is that with the K items, it'll be the normal locations plus the moon bosses.
So the moon may in fact be required. We shall see. Now, they are looking for the crystal. This isn't a forge the crystal situation. They are just straight up looking for the crystal. So maybe it's on the moon. Maybe it's could we have the ever so random behind the mist dragon, where the mist dragon is? I don't know, at the CPU spot.
That Mist Dragon can be sneaky. This is the old no free lunch type seed where none of the key items are available for free except the starting one, and no characters will be available for free. They will all be gated by either an item or a boss fight of some kind.
And speaking of characters, the characters are really what kind of sort of make this seed, and what makes this seed the quote unquote reject percent, because these are the characters that are quote unquote rejected by the game. We have Sid, we have Rydia, we have Tella, we have Eddie, and we have Palom. So really, those I think are the only 5 characters that are possibly available.
Now you can have duplicates, so party selection can look interesting.
Yeah, now the duplicate flag, it will be very, very handy, especially given that we do have the T4 flag enabled, which means you can pretty much find anything in chests. A couple of rune axes means you got a couple of Sids that can actually do some decent damage, especially early in the game. Rydia gives you use of a black mage. Palom gives you use of a white mage. The only problem, of course, with Rydia and Palom is that, or Porum, is that their HP leaves some to be desired.
Treasures are at wild status, so we could be finding adamant armors in a chest. All kinds of craziness. We should be seeing our runners off and going anytime here. Also, Edward can equip the spoon, so that's a little bit of an extra weapon out there, but you have to find the spoon for that to do you any good.
Yeah, but if you do find the spoon and you do have an Eddie, that is certainly one thing that'll probably stay in your party through Zeromus. Yeah, Eddie's HP is the worst in the game, but equipping the spoon gives you 225 attack power, which is slightly decent.
And just to wrap up what we haven't talked about so far, we have J items, spells, and abilities enabled, and also the life glitch is enabled, so you can get the bonus EXP, say from a D machine grind or gold dragons, that kind of thing. Well, we got a magic heavy start. That hook could actually be really good news. On one hand, it might be a hook seed. On the other, that means you have instant access to a third character without going through a fight.
Yeah. And given that right now the starting party is Rydia and Porum, damage is going to be at a premium right now.
This is kind of start where you're really hoping for good J item finds, like a couple of Gaia drums in the early going.
The other thing that I bet you'll see our runners doing is actually checking the front of Mount Hobbs. The front of Mount Hobbs will give Rydia a random summon excluding Bahamut and Leviathan.
And aside from just having the value of the spell, you've got a spell that she's already got at the beginning, and sometimes that can be a really good one for clearing stuff out. The dream there would be Titan, so that you've got the Quake equivalent. But even the elemental stuff can serve a lot of value. You find imps early, they don't really care which element you cast on them.
So, interestingly, we did find some Artemis arrows in Rosa's mother's house. So, if they can find a bow, our runners actually have a halfway decent source of damage right away.
Well, we've got cabins and we've got star veils, so pretty good stuff in the first item shop.
Yeah, absolutely. This way, then it makes the hook check really simple with the exit.
Well, a couple questions in chat let's address. Is that another Rydia in the bar? Yes, it is, and you can have more than one Rydia. You could have 5 Rydias if you really wanted to, / actually find 5 of them. The other question we have is this giant percent? Well, you touched on that off the start. Why don't you answer it, Z-Man?
No, this is not giant percent. This is find the crystal, but the crystal can be anywhere in any key item spot, plus the moon bosses. Now, not the summons, mind you, but the moon boss.
Well, that Avenger isn't going to do us a lot of good today, but I do think we saw a heroine and a dragon whip, so that's pretty good stuff for Rydia. Also,
Yeah,
Tiara popped up.
Yeah, the dragon whip is Rydia's best weapon, although I do believe we saw a dancing dagger somewhere too. So the dancing dagger right now will actually do more damage being used as an item than the dragon whip, but give Rydia a few levels and the dragon whip will certainly be... Oh, there's a Bahamut spell!
That's big for Moonblaze Wolf. Maybe not everybody will check that spot, but with the T4, it encourages you to check a few more treasure spots.
We had Simbu peeping the boss at Hobbs, and the boss at Hobbs was Dr. Lugay guarding another port.
Yeah, so it looks like Simbu just decided that may not be the best place to invest time right now with this party, and none of those J items that can do damage. Oh, a Sylph pickup for Kate. That is very nice as well.
Yeah, the Sylph pickup is actually one of the better pickups, especially early, given that it actually doesn't cost MP to cast due to a glitch.
You've got to have enough to cast it in the first place, but no magic points consumed, so it's unlimited, and that makes it really strong for a multi-wave boss.
I do believe we saw Sid in the bed and kite.
Well, laying down on the job. No, he's just resting his eyes.
Well, that's what old men are good at, right?
Those shops that Poitrak actually just went by, there is some value in this with S2, because anytime it's a gated shop like those are, they'll usually be better than the ones you have immediate access to in the overworld. So when you're looking for life's sirens, it's good to check all these item shops along the way.
And I thought I saw it, but Simbu did run across a Zeus gauntlet, which once we find Sid will be amazing.
There is a Tella find, and I really feel Tella has decent value in these seeds because his early to mid-game magic is so strong.
Let's make one clarification there. He's great to have once you do Mount Ordeals.
This is true, but also he has exit, so there's that.
Ooh, Plague here at Antlion spot.
That is a spot for him to be. Arrows are good, but not enough MP, I don't think, even to get Sylph off right now. So, hurting for damage output. This could be iffy.
Yeah, this is not a boss you want to see with this party set up here.
Also, no attempt at run buffering there is a little surprising for me. Simbu is a very good player who does a lot of test strategy work. So I would guess that Simbu has fought Plague just about every which way you can fight Plague.
Yeah, exactly.
Kate Sith just found the Bahamut, so it's one of those things. It's great to have, but it doesn't help you right away. You gotta level up Rydia at the start to be able to start using it. Encounters are toggle status, so you can turn them on anytime you want to try and get levels. But even if you did that, we don't really have a good ability to kill stuff for levels yet.
The one thing I would think about maybe here, if I was really insistent on getting this plague down, were in the shops. I do believe we saw hourglass. Oh, never mind, plague's down.
Yeah, Simba knows how to do this.
And for his trouble...
Yeah, let's see this first. Well, that is a find.
And now we have access to the moon, and at the very worst, it's another free character.
Indeed. So I was going to say, just to kind of put a bow on how much Simbu practices stuff, I once went to his stream. He was trying to beat Zeramos with 5 level 1 Cecils with crystal swords just to see if he could do it.
Yeah, Simbu is definitely an experimenter, and he's a very good game theorist. So he is certainly one of the top players here. And if you were watching the Twinvitational that we had a couple of months ago, Simbu and his partner Moonblaze Wolf actually won the whole thing. And here they're kind of racing against each other, but in 2v2 settings, they enjoy racing together.
Going to get the defensive fable as Moonblaze Wolf is going to try against Plague, and Podrak, third form of Luge, is a little problematic right now. Don't think we've seen anybody check out that Hobbs spell yet.
No, not yet. I am a little surprised. Ooh, Odin here. That's again another spot. Ugh.
Yeah, the good news is he's weak to lightning, and you do have the lit 1, so he's about as good as you're going to get with just the level 1 spells for weaknesses.
And this is a slower spot, so Simbu should be able to outdamage Odin at this point.
And stacking those slows, you can get 2 slows on bosses that are vulnerable to it. And clears it. And that's a good little bunch of initial levels, and probably enough you're going to be able to get the Sylph casts. I don't know if that's going to be quite enough for Bahamut yet.
Podrak is taking on Luge, trying to pick up another copy of Porum.
Well, having Flare doesn't hurt. I couldn't see what Simbu got there. It looks like it's the package, thanks to our tracker, Maggie.
It is indeed the package. Another free, mostly character. In particularly Devilish Seeds. The boss in Kaipo will be the Mist Dragon. I've only ever seen that once.
If it can happen, it will eventually. Moonblaze Wolf got the Darkness Crystal now.
Looks like Kate Sith is on their way to picking up Toa.
Talked about the potential value of that Evelyn Cave shop. Kate Sith saw the Cure 3s for sale there. Those can certainly be significant because they can do a lot of healing for you. The other thing about checking the spell at Mount Hobbs, though, when you have Rydia, is you get access to the treasure from that side without having to fight the boss.
Indeed.
And clearly we can see these runners going after treasures that they normally do not.
And Podrak finding Excalibur in the first chest on Hobbs. Of course, Excalibur being useless in this particular seed set.
What are you talking about? It's great lunch money.
Earlier I saw one of our runners, I think it was Simbu, selling a white spear, which always hurts.
More lunch money. We need lots of lunch money for this party. It's a hungry party.
Yeah, and given how much money they're getting, you might as well feed them frickin' lobster and Wagyu beef.
Money can be an interesting thing. Well, obviously, but I was playing with these flags earlier today and was actually a little strapped for cash in the early game when I was trying to buy sirens, coffins, making things stretch, and just didn't have enough money. So it's not something to take for granted.
And we can see Moonblaze Wolf using Dancing Dagger strats to take out Dr. Lugay to get another copy of
Hourglasses and silk webs. That is a very nice find for Simbu at the second item shop. Normally where you'd buy the pass.
Yeah, so for a party like this, which right now is all mages that don't have real high damage output yet, those silk webs and hourglasses can be very useful, especially the hourglasses against a number of certain bosses which are vulnerable to being hourglassed, aka stopped. It allows you to kind of take your time and ensure you get a kill. And given the flag set, life glitches are also enabled. So for something like the Baron Guards or the Officer Soldier fight, you can life glitch them for a little bit of extra experience at high experience spots.
What we've not seen yet is that Rydia's spell check. Nobody has taken a quick flight to the moon to see if they can get another character there. And no one has braved Mount Ordeal yet to get Tella all of his spells.
Yeah, right now we're kind of seeing the standard early checks. We've seen the Antlion check, we've seen Fabul, we've seen the Eblon check with the hook. I would think now we're going to see somebody check out Ordeals or maybe try the Baron in soon.
I can understand either one of those plays, especially depending on how much MP you have for Rydia. If she's got self casts, you're probably going to be able to get through that unless it's a really high damage enemy.
And I believe all of our runners have the Bahamut summon as well. So that should enable one hit kills for most of it, even though it's a ton of MP. All of our runners do have cabins being available in Baron. So
the one trick with that though is it's the double wave thing. So you'd want full. If you only have one Bahamut, you want it for the second wave.
Right.
Alright, here Simbu goes after the hook character, soon to find Tella. Or no, I think Simbu already. Oh, did not do that yet. But does check the item shop and finds the Gear 3s. It's a very welcome sight.
Kate Sith doing the Antlion Cave, picking up their package. Or Darkest Crystal, I'm sorry.
Well, we had near simultaneous pickups there, so. Nobody has checked that package character yet. It is guarded by a fight, but you won't know which one until you're at the end. Here's the Rydia check. Thank you, Kate.
And what do we have here? We have Rama. Oh, no, that's Mage. Ugh.
Alright, Simba's going to pick up Tella. Can't imagine he's going to continue on trying the hook path just yet. But really nice to have Tella's exit. It gets you out of several of these early locations faster. Exit is always a wonderful thing to have access to.
Always. I love either having Tella early for exit or finding the exit item really early.
Sail's actually stronger on his white magic early than he is the black magic, but you do have access to recall, so in a bind, he is capable of, I think it's 1 in 20 chance of virus. But so far, for what we've seen, we've had plenty of firepower to get past it.
All right, so at this point, I think all of our runners on screen, while they have taken different paths, have pretty well checked the same thing. So it looks like Simbu is going to be the first to check the.
And Poitrak might be about to check the package for us. The other interesting thing we've not seen is some Mist Dragon checks. Well, that's Edward. That's sketchy for me.
Eddie certainly has his uses against certain bosses. His speed is through the roof inherently. If you can find an Artemis bow with some Artemis arrows, or samurai bow or arrows or something along those lines, Eddie can actually be fairly useful. Spoon makes him a powerhouse, but again, you do deal with the complete and utter lack of HP.
Yeah, right now there's just no equipment for Edward, so I think Poitrak's play makes plenty of sense. You can always go back for Edward later if you do, for instance, pick up the spoon. With the experience flags the way they are, you're going to catch people up in levels pretty quickly. Simbu has gone to the moon, and is going to check out the character first, and presumably you check out the Hummingway Cave second. And we've got another Rydia. Which
so
is
right now we got.
I like the second Rydia here. It doesn't take much to level up that Rydia, and that's once you do, you've got 2 people who can use the Sylph spell. That's gonna do a lot for you.
Yeah, agreed. And we've got a third waiting for us in the Baron. Ooh, Blaze testing his luck and opening some of the chests in here does find a glass helmet. That is the best helmet against physical defense in the game.
Right, Simbu found just diet food for sale on the moon. Who needs that? Give me flavor any day. So, second Rydia, a little bit of value in making that trip. Now I think you either go after those early bosses looking for starter levels / possible Mist Dragon, or go for Mount Ordeals. There's our sirens for sale in the city. Never bad to pick up a stack of them. And we are going to get the Mount Ordeal play.
And it looks like Blaze is going to attempt the bosses here in Babil, maybe.
That's bold strategy. We'll see. Depends on what that boss is, what you have. Setting up good archer strats here.
He's looking for the Mad Ogre chests here. He's going to life glitch them and get a chunk of experience here. Ooh, White Robe. Really nice find. Best armor for white mages in.
Looks like Golbez is hanging out on Mount Ordeal.
It's never a fun fight. I mean, it's not particularly difficult here, given that Simbu, I do believe, purchased some Star Veils, but it's just slow.
Well, it is in part going to depend on who survives, because that level 1 Rydia is just not going to do anything. There's no magic points to cast any spells, and you are going to have to cast on Golbez to get him down. So really needs Tella or the higher level Rydia to survive.
And there we go. Now we can see Blaze doing his strategy here for the Mad Ogres. He has the Artemis Bow and some arrows on Porum C and Porum M. They're going to beat on the Mad Ogres until they're dead and life glitch, so he gets credit for 2 kills, essentially. Mad Ogres are vulnerable to stop, so he has them hourglass. So now it's just a matter of killing things and making sure you get your life glitches off.
Charm element also really good for them. You get a Yang with a charm claw against them or charm arrows. You'll do a bunch of damage.
Rydia, the only one to survive Golbez's initial onslaught.
It was both Rydias, but like I said, you really needed one between that Rydia or Tella to survive. And now Golbez will take out all his HP, but you have to be able to attack once after to get the kill. I think that's enough damage that this lit one will probably do the job. There we go. That's a nasty one to get by. It's also not as informative as it could be in other seeds because Golbez could not block the underground access, but we already know that's not the case because of starting with the hook. So Chad, not too late, get your predictions in now. What's going to be the item here at Mount Ordeals? I'm going to say Luca Key. That's my guess.
I'm going to go off kilter here and say it's not going to be a key item at all. I think that it's going to mean that we do have at least one key item on the moon, and there's going to be bunk here at Mount Ordeals.
Well, we've rolled pretty good on the key item spots so far. Everything is turned up with something. We could be due for that bust.
Simbu fighting one of the freer boss fights in the game, King Queen Ablon.
Yeah, they're a little annoying with the Fire 2s here. Tella could certainly out-heal that if necessary. But all you have to do is wait them out.
All right, so we have Octomom in the King Queen Ablon spot up here in the Tower of Babel. This is not going to be a fun fight. Because this spot is going to hit for a ton of damage, and it's going to be fast.
Yeah, I'd like this a lot more if you'd completed Mount Ordeals first and at least had Lit 3 to cast. Or more MP that Rydia could do Bahamut. This spot just feels really rough right now.
Yeah, I don't think it's doable at these levels for Blaze.
Right, Simbu took the safety save, and we're about to find out who the final boss is on Mount Ordeals. Only
Kate Sith
1,000
taking
HP
on
in this
Golbez.
spot. And Kate got the Tella survival, so should be able to get past Golbez. As long as there's enough time to get the wall up.
Technically speaking, I was right. There was a Zonk here at Ordeals, technically speaking. But it was the best Zonk you could hope for. It's an adamant armor.
You know, here's the only downside to that. I don't know who I'm putting that on. I guess if I'm figuring mage strats to the end, probably Rydia. The higher level one, that is.
Boy, this one's tough. I'd probably put it on Rydia just for damage. But there is certainly a case to put it on Porum so that you always have a white mage alive. But I think right now I probably put it on one of the Ridias just to make damage output through the roof.
Yeah, and while you're not guaranteed you're going to find the pink tail, you do know it's out there. So theoretically, you have a second adamant armor, or I would say about 50% of the time, you probably have a second adamant armor. Of course, we could find more in random treasure chests, but how about this? Moonblaze Wolf is staying alive with this. Well, I jinxed it. Got the Bahamut off, but not enough damage.
Yeah, unfortunately, that spot has a decent number of HP. Not always going to go down to one Bahamut cast at these levels.
Golbez is going to go down to a Bahamut, though.
Simbu with a very interesting strat, putting the adamant armor on Tella.
That gives you a lot of utility in the early game, and I think you can certainly make a case for ditching Tella in the late game. So then you don't have any concerns about the adamant de-equip glitch. So that could be a very good placeholder spot. Or hey, just take it all the way and know that Tella is going to be lacking for HP, and if you're going to bring Tella against Ramos, that makes him a little more likely to survive.
Very true. And we have Vanilla Yang.
The most rude character in the game.
All right, now the question is, can Moonblaze get off another Bahamut summon or some form of damage before Octomon strikes again?
Trying to make this work. No. I respect the play because theoretically you're looking at those bosses and saying, okay, nobody else got past them this early. If I can, then I'm getting to the underworld before anybody else. Where's our spoons? So the package just went up in value. I guess Moonblaze has turned on random encounters just to try and get some levels.
Indeed. And speaking of getting levels, we have Podrak down in the Eblon Castle, taking on some of the trap chests there for some experience.
Definitely an experience-oriented play, because with T4, there's not more value in these chests, whereas there would be in basically any other set of flags. Simba's going for the giant. That suggests... Well, no, yeah, Simba did mount ordeals, so that suggests a D-Machine grind is forthcoming. But there's no MP underflow, so you're not going to be able to do that many.
Yeah, unless he picked up some ether someplace. But then again, I mean, D-Machines, you only need a couple to make a real jump in levels at this point in their experience.
All Nopes became paladins wherever they are. So said the message on Kate's screen.
To answer Baka Shinobi, yes, sirens are available in Mysidia.
See that? I don't believe we've seen coffins for sale yet.
Kate Sith picking up their adamant armor, hasn't plopped it on anybody.
That's the only bad thing for me about getting it in some seeds, is I'm looking at my party and it's like, who am I putting it on? That could be a very tough call. You know, if we were in a situation where instead of seeing 3 Ridias, we saw 3 Sids, you might be thinking still going melee strats against as Ramos, but this party is starting to lend itself a lot more to mage wall strats.
Bacchus Shinobi bringing up a very interesting point in chat here. If you take a look at Rydia's levels, both of the Rydia's levels, they are at level 1. Meanwhile, everybody else in the party is right around level 20. So the level difference between those two level 1 Rydias and the rest of the party mean that those two level 1 Rydias are going to get quite the experience boost on this first fight here. I'm wondering if Simbu is just going to slingshot them into the stratosphere.
Well, you theoretically get, I believe it's 3 times experience, which also, when you're not dividing it versus the vanilla game, is another 5 times experience. So it's a lot of bonus experience. Do you see any ethers in there?
I haven't yet, but there is Psych that Tella has.
That's true, and you do have 4 other party members to psych from. That's a good point.
Octomam goes down finally.
Okay, 10 ether 2s, so Simbu has got the MP available.
Yep, this is going to be a slow, steady D machine grind, I do believe.
Stuff like this is the D machine. It is.
Max plus Pi. Moonblaze Wolf did not save after Octomom because Moonblaze Wolf does know that the Calbrenas are back here, and given the Calbrenas are splitting 20-some thousand HP 6 ways, this Bahamut should take care of all of the dolls.
Just like that. In fact, I'm not positive, but is that HP split between the 2 forms as well?
I believe it is.
Yeah, so you'd only be talking something like 2,000 per doll then. Not an expert on the mechanics of that fight, but I do like the Bahamut there. I just would have liked saving more than doing Bahamut.
Kate Sith picking up another copy of Rydia and heading down into the moon.
This is interesting. There is one other way you can potentially gain levels, but it's pretty risky. Many of these first and second floor random encounters are actually vulnerable to the stone spell. So that is a way Tella could pick off some high experience enemies. But it looks like Kate is going for checking some of the bosses.
Not really a bad idea to check on a boss here just for, let's see what happens. Although it looks like Kate is going to try to take down a couple of gold dragons, a couple of King Ryus.
Very able to use the life glitch on these for a lot of experience. This is definitely a good Siren target when you have that option. And they are vulnerable to weak as well, so similar to the D machine, as long as you can stop them, you can kill them at a pretty low level. Looks like the speed of the D machine is definitely proving an annoyance to Simbu right now, but well stocked to do this.
Yep, it's slow and steady, but this is gonna be a huge slingshot.
the interesting thing will be, depending on the levels after this, do you go check the at least the element spot to see if perhaps that's the Mist Dragon?
I don't think it would hurt to peep that spot, certainly. Moonblaze Wolf heading into the Feymark to find the Baron Key.
Well, opens up another character and item spot. Interesting, Dancing Dagger only did 1 damage.
Kate Sith taking down a couple of gold dragons here and slingshotting a couple of their characters up to quite usable levels.
As a viewer, I love what we're seeing right now, which is runners in 4 different places doing 4 different things. And that good route divergence just means somebody's going to do something that can really open up a seed. We just don't know which one yet. Moonblaze Wolf was the first to get to the underground. Kate Sith the first one to check moon bosses. Simbu doing the level grind is theoretically going to be able to make up a lot of time against stuff.
Podrak taking the slow, steady approach of getting some levels on his characters.
Moonblaze Wolf has returned to the main world and likely going to head to see Sheila and find out what that first item for talking to Yang was. Or, get the whale first. Simbu's level grind is obviously going to be done when he finishes this. He will have in-game levels when this is over. One thing to Kate Sith's side of the ledger, though, is being on the moon. When your level grind is done, you can explore all these moon bosses. And if that happens to be where the crystal is, you're set up to do it that much faster.
Okay. Right, so is this going to be what takes... No!
You're in such good shape to do this that I wouldn't cut it short. If you're going to go to this much trouble, I don't think level 50 is the target. I think 55 to 60 is the target.
Well, and the Japanese spell level flag is turned on, so if Simbu does want nuke on his Rydias, that's level 56 under these flags.
Does use the weak against the Searcher, though, so this is it. Let's see how much we get. Only 7 levels, I think that was. I'm not sure that was enough. Yeah, not enough to get... Okay, there we go. That's the Rydias. Or that's the... That was the lower level Rydias.
Yep, that was the first of the lower level Rydias. So both of them are going to go up 56 levels and get themselves to, I think, level 57 or 58, easily gaining the nuke spell.
Alright, I got thrown off because I was looking at the higher level Rydias first, and also Porum only got to Cure 3. No Cure 4 yet. And that will not be the end of Simbu leveling up, because just beating bosses, you're going to get more. question in chat. Did he have a calculator to get that number? I'm guessing that Simbu has in his reservoir of knowledge the amount of total experience it takes to get that level, and then he just divided that by number of D machines. That could be an interesting question after.
I do think there is a calculator out there somewhere. I just don't know exactly where it is. And Scarlet Kitty in chat is confirming there is a calculator available somewhere on the interwebs.
That I have no doubt. If not, somebody would write one by the end of the stream, most likely. Yeah, we were talking about all the people who helped make the Final Fantasy community run so well, and Scarlet Kitty is not to be overlooked in that. One of the early contributions was the layout for this tracker, all the graphic images for it.
And Simbu taking his adamant off of Tella and slapping it on Cydia, who's going to become the primary damage dealer, I imagine.
Moonblaze Wolf back on Earth and going for the Baron Key.
Uh-oh. Look at Kate Sith.
Yeah, I'm guessing one of those didn't go well and there wasn't a save in between.
That's awful. I mean, we've all been there. We've all done it. That sucks.
Oh, nobody in this booth has done something similar like a few hours ago today or anything in a warm-up seed. I don't know what you're talking about. But Kate has to try and find the progress forward. I don't imagine you're going to go for that same grind a second time, but it was a good play. It made a lot of sense. Now Simbu has the levels to actually go for the bosses, and presumably that's what's about to happen here. Some might say this is a tactical mistake for not checking Cave Bahamut first.
Well, Cave Bahamut doesn't actually have a key item here. This is only the option that's checked is only moon bosses, not the summon spot.
Well, it could still be another adamant armor because there's always value in Cave Bahamut. We got the elements here, so this is Mylon Z, who is weak to Holy Element and Fire. It's also good news because he could be off on this, but as I understand it, the HP is basically split in half for the first two and the second two. So you can kill the entire fight on just Mylon if you're able to do half the HP damage of the spot. Just like that. Drain Spear. Thunder Trash. Has our D machine been found yet? It has not. D-Mist has not been found yet. D machines were found. Simbu's set to roll through this one now.
So we have Poydrak heading down to, well, it looks like he's going to check out the chest on the way down, probably do a Mad Ogre grind a little, and then head to what we know to be Octomom and the dolls.
Blaze Wolf gets past Antlion. Antlion not as scary to a mage team. Actually, not that scary here, period. There's another Tella. I don't think I'd bring two Tellas. Not when I have two radios with Bahamut.
Yep, agreed. I think one Tela is enough for this seed.
It'd also be very handy for being your agility anchor at the end. Just taking a peek over at the IRC, we don't have any done yet, so it's not like this was an easy crystal somewhere we just haven't been to. Really like the position Simbu is in right now. Probably not many in this race are in position to kill moon bosses right now. And hello, Bahamut.
Moonblaze Wolf probably cursing at the game right now as he finishes out the Baron Castle and gets the Magma Key.
Well, that much closer to the 10 key item. Gotta look on the positive. Here comes the Sheila 1 check, which we've not seen yet.
Yeah, this is the easiest check for our runners that hasn't been made yet.
It's the Sand Ruby, which I think was a Sid, so if you want a tank, you could do that, but I'm not sure that is actually the way to go. I mean, of all these characters, I generally prefer a Sid, but you kind of gotta commit to the bit and go with the mage team, is what this seed is telling me.
You know, personally, I would definitely go for a Sid here, just, as you said, just for a tank, number one. And also for, some bosses are certainly easier to take care of with physical damage than, bouncing nukes off of people or what have you. Just my preference, though.
Absolutely, and preference is absolutely a factor because you want to make sure you're comfortable with the team you're using, or at least as comfortable as you can get. Was that the crystal right there?
Indeed.
Well, here we go for Simbu. I'm about to say, you know what would be a good play right now is go check Dwarf Castle and Simbu picks up the crystal.
Simbu is a freaking Final Fantasy IV FE whisperer. That is an unbelievably savvy play from an unbelievably strong runner.
Makes me hurt a little bit more for Kate Sith too, because if the reuse had worked out, I think pretty obviously the next play would have been to go through the moon bosses.
So, yeah, absolutely agreed.
Yeah, so that comes to feel a little more painful right now. But for Simbu, the setup is there. The only downside is with no pass, you're going to be a little bit further away on a save point. So hopefully you get it first try.
Poydrak getting through the lower or upper Tower of Babel rather easily on the first try.
We'll also add some of the item resources just aren't great. I don't know if Simbu even has silk webs.
Baka Shinobi, Moonblaze Wolf has cleared as much of the overworld as he can right now. Or Earth, you mean? No, Baka Shinobi has not cleared Dwarf Castle. But other than that, I think he has full cleared everything.
We don't have Luca Key, we don't have the Pan. Actually, you could go Tower Boss as well.
Tower Boss, yep.
That's an easy one to forget. Alright, Simbu's into the Zaramos fight. Moonblaze Wolf is back on the moon.
Alright.
Gonna do some more reuse, I imagine.
So the big question on everybody's mind whenever we watch a Final Fantasy IV free enterprise randomizer seed, whose butt are we kicking tonight?
There's both the coffins and passes, by the They were in Dwarf Castle. This is what y'all get for not checking. Never forget the dwarfs. What? Well, you could probably keep going on that for a while.
For anybody who does not recognize this wonderful sprite, these are the invaders from Space Invaders.
Thematically appropriate. Invaders from space. I find it interesting. Viridia's actually in the middle here instead of Tella. As long as that Viridia is below 24, below 24 on the agility, it should be the same. But Tella for certain is.
Moonblaze Wolf doing some gold dragon grinding here.
The other big thing for Simbu with those levels he got for Rydia is there you see two of those Rydias have over 2100 HP. They're going to be okay through these big bangs. How often do you cast Fire 3 against Ramos?
Not very often.
But I really like how this is going. Obviously, getting plenty of turns against the Ramos. It's very well set up. That's no surprise.
So Kate Sith going all out with Eddie, putting the spoon and the adamant armor on Edward.
Well, you know, you've got him. There's that for melee damage. And we just don't have a lot else. Like, we haven't found a rune axe for Sid. And there's the flash. Simbu finishes in first place with a time of 53 minutes, 34 seconds. Let's see plenty of GGs for that one, chat. Ramos fades out. Moonblaze Wolf kills Reuse. Kate sits down with the dwarfs.
To put up a sub-hour on a reject percent seed, I'm not sure if I can understate how insanely good that is.
And looks like we've got Simbu now. GG.
GG.
I don't even know where to start with this one. Actually, there was one question that chat had. Simbu now. Let's go ahead and throw that one out first. How did you get your count for the D machines? I don't even know where to start with this one. Actually,
I was
there was one
of
question
just,
that chat had. Let's go ahead and throw that one out.
Doing
first.
it based on a
How did you
feeling.
get
I
your
mean,
count
I
for
could
D
have done the
machines?
math. I know that each D machine is 40,000 EXP, and then with the triple EXP, that's 120,000. So I was looking for somewhere pretty close to 1 million, and I think I killed 8 or 9 D machines if you count life glitching. So that puts me right around the 1 million I was looking for.
Just very well played. I mean, so what? I need to crawl into your brain on this. What makes you go think that? Hey, you know what? I have full power Tella. Let's go slingshot 2 Rydias up to nuke.
So I was planning on. I love doing slingshot strats, especially on reject percent, because Rydia has to get to level 55, and it's by far the easiest way to clear the seed. So I was planning on doing ordeals anyway, and then it dropped me an adamant armor, so now D Machine has basically 0 risk to me. And then I had 2 level or very low level Ridias just pop into my party, and it's like, I've got 5 party members, 3 Ridias, slingshot.
And then you go and you're casting Fire 3 on Zoramos, and I don't think I've ever seen somebody do that before.
The Fire 3 wasn't needed, but I think it actually saved me one of the nukes because I was surprised it hit for 5,000, but obviously you need 61,000 to kill, and one of my Ridias wasn't hitting for 10,000 every hit, so I needed 6 nukes and a little bit more damage. The opening nuke getting reflected was really nice, but the Fire 3 was basically insurance.
Definitely added up. We do have D-Mist located now. Was on the moon. I didn't see which spot, but I think that was the other room that you didn't even bother going to because you found the crystal.
Yeah, this is the Plague White Spear spot.
Okay. I mean, when you have nuke, your only concern is Valvalis, but I didn't find Valvalis, so I was just going to kill everything until I did.
This seat was pretty nice to Rydia with the early Sif and Bahamut.
Oh, was there a Sylph and Bahamut?
Don't tell me you didn't find either one.
I didn't find either of them.
I don't even know what to say to that.
I had Artemis arrows, and I eventually bought an Elven bow. I had to get by with an archer bow for a little while. I sold my Blitz Whip, so I had a dancing dagger I bought and a couple charm rods. And the Stardust rod I found right next to the crystal.
With the reject percent, do you have kind of a favored strat or party that you've seen with these, or does it vary based on what the seed is giving you?
It varies quite a bit on what the seed gives you but I think most of my plays revolve around Rydia. Because if you get an early Leviathan or Bahamut, then you're basically going to one-shot everything. If I had a Bahamut, I might have actually tried to take down Calbrena. I don't know. It would have been a possibility, but without any AoE, Calbrena was like, I don't really want to mess with you. And then with the high levels, I thought I might as well just blitz to the moon.
So Moonblaze is about to go into that room of destiny, I guess we could call it tonight. Soon to find the crystal.
And go figure, it is the 2 teammates that have the same play. Gee, I wonder if the 2 of you have ever done this together.
I've been telling Moon quite a bit lately that he needs to get better at doing the moon, so I'm glad to hear that he's actually following in my footsteps a little bit slower than I was.
At this point, we can see that probably nobody was hot on your heels, apparently, but Moonblaze could be in strong position for that second spot right now. All those walls is in good shape to get past Bahamut.
Yeah, the only thing is that he's going to have to do more grinding, more slower grinding than Simbu, because Moon does not have a tele.
So he actually went to the moon and grinded with just the Artemis arrows, I guess?
He did his first grind with Sirens, Gold Dragons, and Bahamut.
Okay, Bahamut. Bahamut would definitely get it done. But yeah, sometimes the seed just gives you everything you need, and just don't fight it. If it gives you a Tela and 3 Rydias, then get your nukes and go win the game.
Well, it's a good lesson, and it was a good show tonight, Simbu. Any final thoughts on this one?
I was kind of disappointed knowing that I was never going to get an edge with the 2 ninja swords and Murasame and all of that stuff I was getting, but I can't complain, so
I mean, that's just crazy talk, expecting to get all the good swords for Edge and get Edge in the same sea.
yeah.
And there's the crystal for Moonblaze.
Anyway, thanks for restreaming, guys, and have fun with the rest of the commentary. Just think it's going to be a good race.
All right, thanks, Simbu.
Thanks, Simbu. Well played, but just supremely well played.
Yep, thanks, guys.
All right, now Moonblaze Wolf doesn't have far to go, really, in levels. I don't know how many sirens they have, but the King Ryus would make a lot of sense right now.
Yeah, agreed. Polydrek taking on the Pale Dim, which is at the Ashura spot. I'm starting to wonder if Polydrek has his flags a little confused, because he's been checking most everything that would be checked for if you're assuming key items are anywhere, as far as trap chests or summon bosses or moon bosses and everything else.
Yeah, it's very common that the summon monsters are included with the moon bosses. But that got separated with this newer version of the randomizer, which is still not been around that long, really. I think we're a month and a half now. So,
Something like that.
yeah. So having some of these flags split up where you were used to them doing one thing, now they're actually separate things, so you have to check for both. I mean, we're only speculating because we can't get inside a runner's head. He could just be looking for more stuff or more levels.
Kate Sith looking to take down the Calbraina dolls. One cast of Bahamut should take care of it.
I still can't believe Simbu didn't see their slip full of it. We saw them so early on. But that's just what happens sometimes when you're on a different route. Oh, going for the life glitch here. Trying to do these one at a time instead of the AoE.
Speaking of life glitch, Moonblaze Wolf getting a life glitch in his Gold D grind.
No Tella in Moonblaze's party, so you can't weak. At least not until Rydia would get it, but the hourglasses are going to stop the reuse, so that, and if you still got a Dragon Whip, that'll do very nice damage. Okay, not checking these chests. Poydrek does not think it's the old K3 where it's the trap chests. Or there's 4 of these here you'd be looking for. He's just going for the boss at this point.
Yeah, agreed. Kate Sith taking care of the Calbraina doll.
Finds a trap. Gets me every time. Is that the Mom Bomb hanging out over there?
I didn't catch a good look. Let's see, what do we have? This is Dark Imps?
This could be a little wide variety because I think this is one of the color glitch spots. So it could be Imps, Water Hag, or Taboo Gauntlet. But it is the Imps.
Nice free fight here, and you can also life glitch these guys, so potential of getting a whole bunch of experience.
Apparently they have the Legend Sword. This is Simbu's spoiler log.
That's timing is everything.
Oh, well, that's very good information. Scally Kitty telling us in chat that Ward may have fixed the palette glitch, so that would make the color of the robes more accurate. It was kind of interesting to see the spoiler log on Nayseed where you cleared it with relatively few items and you could find out how close you were to getting something else. I didn't see where the pink tail was, though. And that would be probably the biggest question in this seed. Have we seen where the twin harp is? I did not see it yet. Voidrak taking time. Definitely trying to make sure to get the life glitch here. Get 5 imps instead of 3. Or if you get a little lucky, you could get double life glitch on 1.
Well, there it is, Conkers. DJ Conkers, just to answer your question, it is after the Mist Dragon.
And Pinktail would have been the last moon boss. Alright, so I don't know my level counts well enough to know how many King Ryu's Moonblaze Wolf needs at this point, but should not be too many from this point.
Well, I would. Depends on when Moonblaze Wolf feels comfortable going. Personally, I wouldn't feel comfortable going until 1 or 2 of my Rydia's new nuke, and both of my Poroms, well, at least one of them, were over 2,000 HP just to be safe.
Yeah, I think nuke is pretty well required. Ideally, you'd have nuke and white.
Well, we just got a white.
Yeah, the white magic is there. Level 50s for everyone, so yeah, that's I don't know how many reuse it's taking to a level, but it's just not that many levels left being needed at this point. Simbo's, I believe, was at 56 with the over the 2,000 mark.
Oh, this is annoying. Valvalis at the Dark Imp spot.
Moving pretty quick. But not that many HP here, so Voidrak gets past it. If I'm not mistaken, this is a little bit early on Tuesday for Voidrak. But has been a pretty frequent participant in these Monday races in various capacities.
So, just to give you an idea on how insanely Simbu played this seed, we are now 15 minutes after he has finished the seed, and we still don't have our second place finisher. Mind you that this is a 17-person race.
And Moonblaze could very, very easily be in contention for that second spot right now, just because of how early they found the crystal. Also, with Rydia having weak now, that's going to speed up the rest of this grind considerably. Well, now Voidrak is killing these trap treasure chests here, so either exploring for gear or does think this is the old K3. Wow, Kate Sith's got the fight against Rubicon going on. And he can be rude sometimes. You know, just hitting you for 15 times your HP. We didn't really explain the life glitch. So I guess we could touch on that right now. It takes having at least 2 enemies up on the screen, and when the one is in the death animation, you use a life potion on it. As long as you targeted the life potion before it goes away, you basically get credit for killing 2 instead of 1. And on a really good day, you get 2 of those off on the same enemy before it goes away completely, and that gives you 3 times experience for killing it. And there's Mom Bomb. Crazy old Mom Bomb.
Should be nice and easy for Eddie with a spoon and adamant armor to take.
Correction, the spoon with adamant armor and Edward.
That's what I thought. What did I actually say?
You said Edward with the spoon. The spoon uses Edward, not the other way around. Edward is just the placeholder.
Semantics.
Moonblaze getting life too. Level 53 now. Only 6 sirens left. I'm not entirely sure that's enough. But there are plenty of bosses around here if you're just a touch short. There we have it. Zilch is our second place finisher with a time of 1:13:46. It was exactly 20 minutes. Just an absolute clinic Simbu put on today.
Alright, so let's see if Kate Sith will follow the breadcrumbs straight up to the Tower of Babel, and yep.
So running out of hourglasses isn't the biggest deal in this fight when you've already got weak and you're going to be able to kill them off pretty quickly. But the bigger concern would be running out of sirens to get the fight. We'll see if it holds out for Moonblaze Wolf.
I mean, it's going to be really close. I mean, it's going to be within a matter of 1 or 2 fights.
That's, again, not the worst, because you have all the moon bosses here. So, if it's off by just a touch, then you're 1 or 2 fights away from getting it back. When you're doing the D-Machine grind, it really is better to do it at a lower level because of the HP, percentage damage, etc. But these reuse just get easier the higher level you are. And there's the nuke.
Yep, all 3 of his Rydias have learned nuke.
Third place finisher comes in, so Error in the third place, 1:15:52. So those two very close Would have been on the Z fight at the same time. I always appreciate when runners set up their spell selection in advance of the Z fight or early in the game, whenever, just to cut back on your menuing time. I think it's worth it.
Yeah, personally, I try to do that as much as I can. Sometimes, of course, I forget, but Poitrak is taking the time to get Sid. Finally, we see a melee character other than Eddie.
I claim no patent on this, but I've long been an advocate of putting exit at the bottom of the first column like Poitrak did, because then you just have to up arrow, and you can use exit anytime you need it.
I do that with exit and warp.
So only an ogre act for Sid, but you can put a shield on him with that. If you have a shield.
Haven't seen a dwarf. Haven't seen a dwarf axe, which would enable you to back row glitch, Sid.
All right, here we go for Moonblaze Wolf, the Descent. The forthcoming battle with Zeramus. I didn't see the final HP totals, but I think this is the same level that Simbu came in, if anything. Well, he's got higher levels with everybody else. Simbu targeted it with just the 2 Ridias, but everybody else has got higher levels. Actually, I think he had 1 more level on his Ridias and got to 2100, but the first Big Bang is going to get nerfed. That's not hard to do, especially not when you got Silk Webs. It's a great candidate for nerfing the first Big Bang.
Right. And that'll put a slow on Zeramus and allow Moonblaze to basically, he's going to do reflect strats, I would imagine, and reflect nukes and whites off of characters onto Zeramus so as to not provoke the nuke counterattack.
He sets up for that and does it well. You have to use the crystal before you can do a lot, because like if you try and set up walls before using the crystal, you're going to get nothing. It'll just disperse it. Not going for Silk Web, just going for nukes. And didn't get credit for that first one, I don't believe. Or just the damage numbers not showing. Or am I blind?
For which my attention was diverted off of Moonblaze's screen for a second.
I hadn't seen a damage number for nuke. That's 2 nukes went off. I didn't see a damage number. That's the first time I saw one. I thought the first one was fast, but then I was shocked the second one didn't. Unless I just missed it. There's the shake. So this is a faster moving Zeramus than Simbu's had. Simbu had a lower level character, so lower agility to work with. And probably stuck a slow on there. I don't recall. But it's pretty common practice just to give you more turns to work with, less healing needed.
Okay, so it looks like Kate Sith is on their way up to Sheila 1 to get their sand root.
So the biggest reason we do these reflect strats, not only do you save on not needing the heals, but the way they got around binary limits for Zeramus's HP was to have an HP refill happen mid-fight, but that requires direct damage being dealt to trigger. The reflex strats keep that from happening. Penguinator has turned in the 4th place finish, 121.09, so very close between Penguinator and Moonblaze Wolf. Speaking of close, Mr. Ubik, just 10 seconds behind Penguinator.
And also, speaking of close, we have Poydrak and Katesith with almost frame-by-frame pickups of the pan from turning in the round.
Alright, so whack Yang in the head. That's what he gets for not joining our party. It's justified. A flurry of finishes, as Flurry finishes in 6th. And Moonblaze Wolf right behind that in 7th. Just a difference of 3 seconds between those two. And I missed what the item was. I missed what we got from the Sifts there.
Yeah, so did I.
Let us know if you saw it, chat. What we did see was a good finish by Moonblaze Wolf, 7th place, 122.01. So we know the answer to this seed is on the moon. Anybody with the Darkness Crystal has access to get there, get the crystal. We don't need no pass. Not today. Zarak finishes in the 8th spot, 122.58. And looks like we have Moonblaze Wolf. GG.
Oh, 1 second here.
Okay. Meanwhile, we have Kate Sith picking up Adamant.
All right, can you hear me okay?
We do.
All right, thanks.
Well, GG, you were right at the start of this flurry of finishes we had here. Talk to us a little bit about this seed.
Well, it was just one of those seeds where you got everything right at the beginning. And for my part, I guess I felt a little bit frustrated once I realized how much damage Bahamut was doing, which seems like a really odd thing to say, but you don't really realize how good that setup is until you've done it a couple times. And I went through the hook route first, and I was kicking myself the whole time, basically saying, you know, I'm trying everything I can to get through this Octomom, when really I should be just grabbing that second Rydia and going up to the moon right now.
We had a bunch of Rydias in the seed. I believe we know that 3 were available.
Yeah, I ended up with 3 there for the end. Rydia's so good.
Yeah, especially once you get her up to 55, 56, and she learns Nuke. With these flag sets, you can put a ton of hurt on Zeromus really quick.
Out of curiosity, how many Sirens did you have left over at the end?
I used, I think, 17 or 18 out of the 20 that I brought with me to the moon.
Worked out pretty well.
Yeah, like I said, Bahamut's just so good, and if I had kind of assessed my situation a little bit better, I think I would have just gone straight to the moon and not even worried about the underworld. But it is what it is. It was just a couple rude bosses, just some other stuff that was kind of avoidable, I think.
So I have to ask, once you saw Simbu's dot done at 50...
Yeah, I mean, I spent so much time grinding. I actually had the crystal when he got done, so I mean, I had a hunch it was probably on the moon anyway, and then that basically, to me, that just confirmed it. Plus, I know Simbu loves to make the early moon play if he can, so it just it seemed right that he would finish that fast.
Yeah, so the big thing is that he had his Tella and did ordeals, so he did a D-machined grind and, slingshotted 2 of his Rydias up to nuke real fast.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a really good play for sure. So the moon actually had value in this seed. So, I'm sure that you're kind of like me in that you've noticed that moon doesn't always necessarily have a ton of value right now, especially with these find the crystal flags. The moon doesn't always have a ton of value anymore. So, were you a little surprised that hey, it's on the moon actually for once, and it was actually in the ribbon spot? I mean, with this flag set, I actually love making an early moon play, and the reason why is because of the flags with the moon bosses enabled, but not the summons. It actually gives you a lot of incentive to go early if you can get away with it. And I've always been really used to thinking about it in terms of armor, kind of like being able to survive. But when you have those behemoths like that, you can just go up there and nuke everything. You don't really even have to worry about armor too much.
You were at the start of the floodgates, so I guess everybody kind of followed that similar path to the moon in about that time frame.
Yeah, I'll be curious to kind of assess afterwards with people if they even bothered with the underworld, or if it was just going up to the moon and struggling a little bit more, or just grinding differently, or there were a lot of different routes you could have taken in the seed. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see what everybody did.
Faced with this party composition, is there a particular strategy you favor for going into Zeroma's fight? Do you like the mage nuke strats? Do you hope to find the spoon and a couple of good axes for Sids? What's kind of your preferred setup?
Yeah, this was pretty much my ideal setup for reject percent. The only thing I would have maybe changed would be to have one Sid instead of one of my Porums, or maybe even a 4th Rydia. But 3 Rydias like that can just completely torch Zeromus before he even gets that second Big Bang off. So that's pretty ideal for me if I can get 3 Rydias like that.
Well, it gave us a good show tonight. Any other thoughts on this one?
It's just a good learning experience. I'm really excited for the World Series, and it was good practice. So I hope everybody else enjoyed it. Thank you for doing the commentary and the restream and the tracking, and thanks to Randomania for hosting us. It's always fun to kind of show off like this.
Thank you, Moonplace. And that is a good segue to mention that the World Series is nearly upon us.
Indeed.
These races will be held on Saturdays and Sundays, and looking at the schedule right now, we have Appleseed event qualifiers. That's going to start Saturday, Sunday. So this Saturday, 12 o'clock, will be the first World Series race. It is that close.
Yeah, we have 4 qualifiers this weekend, and then our first final table next Friday. So that'll be interesting. Appleseed percent, that is the absolute definition of gotta go fast. Those seeds can absolutely be completed in under half an hour if the setup is right, and certainly under an hour in most circumstances.
Yeah, that's also one that'll really crank up the pressure on you as a runner, because there's basically nothing you can do that somebody else is not doing as well. So you have to not only do whatever you're doing, but you have to do it as fast as possible.
Yeah, and basically the only differences between finishing times will be kind of the minutiae, the menuing, the which order did you check certain spots in, because that can be a big factor. How you play your Zeromus fight, again, could be a huge factor. So it's going to be an interesting way to start off the World Series with the Appleseed. I'm looking forward to it.
I think there's a temptation to maybe look at that as the easiest one. And it may be the easiest to complete, but at the same time, that amps up the pressure that much more when you know everybody else can complete it that fast as well. It probably has the smallest margin for error.
Yeah, indeed. You're going to see, these apple seeds are certainly the quickest to finish, but as a result, you're going to see finishing times right on top of each other. And given that they're using Z-score to determine who gets in, I mean, it could literally be 5 seconds means the difference between getting in and not getting it.
Speaking of finishes that are tight, I kind of hadn't run down this in a while. Since Moonblaze Wolf, we had Zorak finish in 8th, 122.58. Chexorda 9th, 124.16. Rumblefish 10th place, 126.21. Smetty is 11th, 126.30. And Rivers finished 12th, 127.56. So, a lot of people finishing very close to each other. If you want to find out more about the free enterprise randomizer, good starting point is, of course, the Discord, which we'll link here, but also the website, ff4, the number 4, fe.com. The free enterprise randomizer, ff4fe.com. Links to everything.
And we have Kate Sith doing a grind on gold dragons. And we have Podrak maybe looking for a Mist Dragon.
Very likely. We know Mist Dragon's on the moon, so Podrak hasn't been there yet to see it. Gatesith going for some revenge against these dragons. This time with the 10 key items now. It'll go a lot faster. JDP is lucky number 13, 133.12. The completion time. I came right back to the same spot to take on the reuse, in fact. This is really a revenge run.
Yeah, Kate Sith's got to be like, all right, you guys are dying, and you guys are dying hard.
Interesting setup. To not level up Tella is a little strange. You theoretically save on menu time to the party members you want to use, but weak could speed this up for you a good bit, and it really doesn't matter how high you take Tella's level, he's still going to be a good agility anchor. Rex are all in 14th, 134.13. Wydrak's still looking for the answer to this seed. And Kate Sith is just looking for levels.
Has plenty of Bacchus wines for Eddie to drink. Notice 53 of them. Maybe a little overkill.
If Zeramos isn't dead yet, then not kill enough.
I imagine Podrak is looking forward to getting an Eddie with a spoon. Or a spoon with an Eddie, depending on how you'd like to define that.
I really don't mind the idea of doing the all-mage team if you're going straight for Zeramos. There's a case to be made depending on the other bosses you have to fight. Hey, there's CPU. Hanging out in a nice friendly spot even. But that's enough Podrak resets. So that was just a Mist Dragon check.
Yep, that's exactly what that was. Because I think Podrak has pretty well cleared most everything else here on Earth.
Neon Gray in the 15th spot, 136.03. Yeah, it's just a lot of excitement in Free Enterprise right now. Obviously, we had the very hype showcase at GDQ. We got another one coming up, RPG Limit Break. That was just announced Sunday. And then, of course, the World Series starting this weekend. There's a lot going on.
Indeed, and I think somewhere in through there, I know Scala Kitty can probably refine this a little more, but RPG Valkyries is hosting an RPG marathon, RPGs we love, and I do believe Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise is also featured in that marathon. I want to say it happens at the end of this month, at the beginning of next, but I'm not entirely certain. Like I said, I'm sure Scala Kitty will correct me in chat.
It's like you have to join the Discord to keep up with all this stuff. Please do. It's we welcome everybody who enjoys this game to come join the fun.
Indeed, it is, and it is a very welcoming Discord. Lots of really good people in there. Really good community we have here in Final Fantasy IV Free.
We fight over who gets to help the newbies. Leveling up Rydia enough to get weak.
See, there we go. Scala Kitty pops up in chat on cue. RPGs We Love starts on Sunday, and Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise is the feature race on Sunday night. And I do believe, unless I am mistaken, two very prominent members, both, again, part of the Twinvitational, I believe Silverfire and Demarine 2 are going to be the two racing it, I do believe. Or two of our racers.
Thought that was handy enough I could look for it, but I'm not seeing it right now. I do think you're right, though. So, more Kangaroo used to kill for Kate Sith. What about the decision to leave Tella down through all of this?
I think it's more or less understandable. I mean, Tella's not really going to do much against Zeromus anyways. So why waste a turn parrying or weaking or whatever when Eddie is pretty well slicing through these gold dragons really quickly, getting 180,000 experience points per battle. I completely understand the decision to let Tella eat some floor.
I'd say the biggest difference is you level up Tella, he's going to have enough HP to survive a nerfed Big Bang. At this point, it's so low that a nerfed Big Bang would be questionable.
Yeah, but even at the same time, a Tella at level 50, I mean, so realistically, the only thing he might do is throw a crystal or throw a silk web, maybe.
Yeah, uses Silk Web's fine. Uses Cures 3's fine. And when you finish all that, can throw Virus off the wall. I actually think Kate's Ramos fight is going to look a little bit different than everybody else's because really a lot of this strat seems to revolve around berserking Edward with a spoon. Which is going to mean Zeramos having more HP than what we've seen from the other runners so far. We did get confirmation about those runners, plus also Swati Wrath and Unknown Availability, so it'll be a 4-player race.
I think the other thing with Kate's fights here is, not only is it's going to be a slower fight period, I would think that we'll see Also, some reflect strats. I think we'll see Nuke and one of the Porums casting white.
Yeah, I think you do both because of the melee aspect. The HP refill is going to trigger, which is just something you have to prepare for. And if you get Edward to a little bit higher level, he'll power through it nicely, but you're probably going to want to go more based on your mage levels than getting Edward to, like, say, a 65, where he would just absolutely destroy Zeramos.
And we have the Water Hag here at the Odin spot.
We're getting the Grand World Tour. But we still haven't found the harp.
I mean, we know where it is, we just haven't seen it.
Distinction without a difference, really. Neither one gets us music.
No, I don't. This is going to be a musicless seed, I do believe. You know, while we had Moonblaze Wolf in here, we probably should have said, hey, you know what? Let us hear some music. And convinced him to do an after seed music binge.
That would have been a thought. Iker finishes in 16th spot, 142.10. Big Dunka in 17th, 142.26. All these finishes are close to each other. Wherever you finished, there wasn't a lot of space between you and everybody else unless you were named Simbu today.
Yeah, what? 20 minutes isn't much time.
You know, down here you go for a 20-minute drive and you better have an hour to get there.
Protect Ring at the Wyvern spot is nice.
Yeah, as far as not what you wanted, it's not the worst thing. Siren's not working very well on the teleporter. Enough HP now on a couple of these characters to be able to survive the big bangs.
Yeah, and a bunch of HP coming at the ribbon spot, which we know to hold the crystal, so I think Kate Sith is well on their way to being where they need to be.
Wedrak has gone to scramble some eggs up for levels.
And I can't.
At this point.
But
I don't disagree at this point. I mean, levels just make everything easier, and I believe now Poydrak's done everything except the moon, so that's got to be the target after this.
yeah, I would think, and I can't blame him for wanting a little more HP on his characters for the moon. I mean, Sid's going to be a tank, and 3 Bahamut casters, so...
I'll get you through a lot.
Yeah.
Not everything, but a lot.
But again, it's going to be a little bit slower versus Aroma's fight because you are more likely with Sid to hit that HP refill.
Pretty much unless you're going to resign Sid to item use status. Since it's been a while since we thanked people, let's start off by thanking Randomania for hosting us tonight. It's been, you know, I think we're close to the year mark of having this weekly here on Randomania. I don't know the date of the first one, but...
You know, I was actually just looking at that just yesterday, I think, because I had my curiosity had piqued. And I do believe it was March 11th or March 18th, somewhere in through there, the date of the first one.
See, now I feel like we got to do something special for that.
Yeah, it's called the World Series of Free Enterprise.
There you go. But that's not on Monday. Calamity finishes in 18th place, 145.39. One of our other racers from earlier tonight already finished. Mr. Ubic joins us in chat. Hope you had fun with this one tonight. It was interesting. Got Poidrag continuing to deal with the eggs. We've got Kate Sith dealing with the King Ryus. I wonder what Kate's target is at this point.
White maybe on the forums.
Look at that damage, though, that's going out with the spoon. In the 4,000 range per hit.
Or could be just getting levels because why not?
Everybody over 2100 HP now. That's sort of your target for Big Bang. It can super crit damage just slightly higher than that, but 2100 is pretty safe for a full powered Big Bang. And maybe that was the goal, was get Edward to that 2100 number.
This is the one fight that Kate says probably didn't want to see is the Mist Dragon. Ooh, Bacchusing Eddie. Interesting call.
Probably going to get a couple hits in before it changes. The downside is you can't stop Eddie from hitting when it's in mist form. And that counterattack depends on the spot, but I don't think it's going to be too bad. It's just going to be time consuming.
Right, and that's all it is. It's just annoying. It's not going to do much damage. It's just annoying because it takes time.
And that increased speed means you're going to be hitting this a lot. Or missing against this a lot, depending on how you want to define it. But the damage is nothing, though. It's one of those things you have to get used to when you're shuffling the bosses, is something like Antlion, where he's got the annoyance of his counterattack. In a high physical damage spot, it could be really annoying, but in another spot, it might just be so weak to you that it's nothing. Like, even this late in the game on the moon, your stats, your HP is so high that it's nothing to take counter from the line. Trying to kill off Edward, apparently. Wonder if that was just to stop the counters.
Yeah, exactly. Just to get the Bacchus off of him and to let the Mist Dragon get back into its form where it can be hurt.
Goes up Edward, so yeah, I guess well, going right back to the Bacchus wines. I might not have done the Cure 3 then. But that's enough damage to get through. And an Artemis bow is your reward. Now, as long as you go the next room over, all is well. Although this is a case where this information is going to hurt a little bit because of Kate's attempted moon grind earlier. And here's our old buddy Bahamut. He's so nice, keeping the crystal safe for us until we get here.
Yeah. Now the question is Bahamut actually going to get off a Mega Nuke, or is Bahamut going to take a dirt nap before getting off the Mega Nuke?
I think this is the highest level we've seen anybody come in here with. But I think we'll see Mega Nuke. Maybe. Could happen. Good damage from the whites, though. And Eddie finishes it off.
Two levels all around, and incoming crystal.
Well, that's good. Here's the good news, bad news. And the good news is you're that much closer to the end. Levels are good. You're right here at the save point. Yeah, go ahead. Put the Artemis bow on. It's not like you're going to swing your fists anyways. A little lacking on the magic defense for this form.
Well, I'm not sure I would leave the Artemis bows on, because the Artemis bows, I do believe, lower your magic stats. And, given how the magic is actually going to be used in this fight, I would imagine that, these will want to unequip this stuff before heading to Zeromus.
Please tell me Kate's actually saved in that sequence, because I didn't see it.
I didn't see it either.
I really hope Kate's saved.
I hope so too.
So as we've all learned more about this Zeromus fight, it's gotten a lot more routine. Still, some are going to be harder than others. The good news is, Edward is actually doing so much damage at this point. You could pretty well solo the fight. You just have to be available to heal Edward, but I think you could heal it before a third Big Bang would happen.
I mean, you could probably easily two-person this party, one Porum and one Eddie, and be slow, but it'd be safe.
It is. We'll see what route Kate takes with this. The wall strats have been the way we've seen our other two runners finish this so far.
So, and we have Poidrak taking on Ogopogo at Leviathan spot.
Yeah, Ogo's gonna counter whenever you hit him with magic, so this isn't the greatest setup for him. If you had a Dragon Whip for Rydia, that would be very nice here. The good news is Blaze is not doing a lot of damage in this spot. At least not with this. Yeah, I don't know if we'll end up getting any comments from Poidrak after the fact, but I think it's pretty clear he thought this was the equivalent of the old K3, where it could be any of the trapped chests or summon monsters.
And now I do believe Poidrak has done everything possible but the moon.
Over 5,000 damage from the spoon. That's very good damage. Say goodbye to Tella.
Bye, Tella.
Alright, so Void Drag headed for the moon. That's all there is at this point. I wonder if he's going to go to Bahamut first or just go straight to the bosses.
You know, given what we've seen so far, I don't see any reason why he wouldn't do Bahamut first.
So, the Reflect strat's a little different here on Kate Sith's side instead of what we saw from the others. In the others, they were intentionally not triggering the HP refill. That's going to be unavoidable with Eddie on Berserk strats. But it still moves you towards the final HP count that much faster.
And there's our second shake.
I would guess that Kate Sith is actually dealing damage the fastest of any of our runners have done in this fight because of those extra levels.
Yeah, agreed. Oh, and another shake.
Shake it off, shake it off.
Shake, shake,
Video
shake.
face.
Shake, shake, shake.
Kate Sith is finished in 20th place, 157.57. Got the sub 2 hours. Way to go. GG for Kate Sith. And Crimson Avix finishes 21st, 158.25. Yet again, our runners finishing right next to each other. Hello, Kate. GG.
GG.
Well, where do you want to start with that one?
Well, what happened was I was kind of going to the moon originally, and then of course, as I was grinding in that, lost my last Artemis arrow because for some unknown reason, Radia's turn came up and that. So I reset out. I didn't realize I hadn't saved since beating Galvez on ordeals. Well, I beat Galvez on ordeals, but then I hadn't saved since then.
Yeah.
Then I just thought, okay, let's see what the Earth had to offer. I didn't. Of course, that turned out to be mostly trash, other than I got Spoonward.
So what was that feeling like when you found out Crystal was on the moon and you probably would have been in line to get it so much sooner?
Oh, it's kind of an annoying one.
Yeah, because we all saw exactly what your path was going to be, and when the unfortunate reset happened, and we found that the crystal was in fact on the moon, we're like, oh god. I mean, it's
it's like because I didn't have no more Artemis arrows to replace the last one, so that basically meant my grind would come to a screeching halt if I didn't. Yeah,
well,
and if I would have just proceeded to go up to the moon as soon as I got Spoonward or whatever, then I would have at least still been on the right path.
Yeah, but at that point, I don't think anybody can blame you for taking the path you did. And that said, Spoonward is a wonderful character in these flags, as you very well demonstrated in this flag set.
Yeah, he is like, it's like he was wrecking stuff, especially Adamant Spoonward.
Yeah, that's one of the few times where you actually want to put an adamant armor on Eddie, is when the spoon flag is in play and you need melee damage.
Yeah, and has anybody done Twin Harp yet?
Well, we've
No.
not seen Twin Harp yet.
Twin Harp was behind Mist Dragon. Nobody's even picked it up.
Okay, and well then I gotta save on the moon, so I'm gonna go. Is the stream still active?
Yeah, you can do it.
Absolutely, go right ahead. We can all listen to some music.
While you do it, I'll throw out one more question. We've got the World Series starting off this weekend. Are you participating this weekend?
Yeah, I'm planning to do so.
All right. Well, this will earn you the title, as I call it, the People's Champion for the night. That always goes to the first person to check the harp.
Yeah. Oh. That white mage is out of... No wonder I couldn't cast Exit. Helps if I... So... At least the spoiler log... At least the spoiler log made it At least the spoiler log makes it easy to find out where Twin Harp is.
It does do that.
So I go. And you kind of noticed that I kind of both times I forgot to heal up before going into a battle, after going through caves that have damage tiles. But I managed to still recover.
You know, the more I'm watching Poydrak, I wonder if he didn't read the flags in reverse and think that the moon is actually excluded.
Let's see, I'm gonna... Sometimes there's a... Yep.
Yep. I do believe Poydrak thinks that this is the equivalent of the old K4. That this is, any trapped chest is a key, could potentially be a key.
Yeah, this has led to a lot of searching and not a lot of finding.
Any trapped chest is a key.
But he's about to forge the Excalibur, so we'll get to find out what's here.
Maybe there'll be something good in Kokol's shop.
He's actually going to the harp. So I think what we want to do is move him out of this channel so we don't get the echo.
Hey, Kate, can you mute your stream? You've got the commentary coming through.
He's actually going to the harp. All right. So again, thank you to Kate. If we could get the volume there, we're going to get a harp check. Did he check the shop while I was taking care of that? Or here we go. The Lolly Ho shop. I didn't see anything. Didn't see what was for sale.
I didn't see what was for sale either. But you must have checked it on the way down.
I think he was looking at his inventory list there to see what perhaps he has and hadn't gotten to yet.
And our wonderful tracker Maggie answering in chat that there was either an Odin summon or either samurai bow or arrows.
right, so hopefully we're getting the music.
Is this Dancing Mad from
That's
Final
what
Fantasy
chat
VI?
says. That's what chat says. And Poydrak has started to work into the moon cave, the lunar subterrane, which is the only thing remaining. And it's the Fable Gauntlet.
Ooh, so we get to hear music nice and long.
I always say this is the best place to find it. I've had people ask me, is there any place where people like the Fable Gauntlet? And I say the harp.
And to answer Mr. Ubik's question in chat, San Ruby was at Sheila 1.
Alright, so Poydrak's on the right track now. Gotta take care of business with these bosses. Chad asking who was the San Ruby character. That was the Cid. It's the only Cid we saw. Time twister there. But we did not see two character spots. We did not see Giant of Babel, which you never see. And we didn't see Earth Crystal 2. I think that's everything.
Yeah, I think that's all that we didn't see, I think. Although I can't remember who was at Dwarf Castle. I know we saw Dwarf Castle. Was that Tella at Dwarf Castle, maybe?
Yeah, chat saying it was another Tella. I knew we already had him by that point. I couldn't remember if it was the second one or not. He was in the Hook character spot. Well, Poydrak certainly has levels at this point. There's a lot of value in frequent saves as we're seeing tonight.
Yeah.
But it's hard sometimes because you can't just save anywhere you want to in the lunar subterrane. It's a lot of walking to get to a save point.
Acid Shiver, yes, Baron was another Rydia.
It's been long enough at this point, I'm not certain of much of anything. I just remember where Tella was. Tella was the Hook character. And Kate Sith has saved the day. The People's Champion tonight.
And because why not, finds the Earth Crystal.
Oh, this is also showing off a new feature. This was added with the latest version of the Randomizer. You can talk to the harp after the battle. It'll replay the song again and tell you where it came from. Alright, Poydrak. Trying to find the right boss. It's on the right track. gonna be the biggest question is left or right here, and he went right, so that's gonna make it a little faster to get to the right place. I like it. This is the percentage play. There's more bosses in this direction.
And it looks like the first check that he's going to do is going to wind up being... Drum roll, please. Oh, he does go to the Bahamut check first, which is exactly where he needs to be.
Fortunately, the seed was giving him the star veils. It makes this quite a bit easier. Really, even the stuff for sale in this seed was just very cooperative for what we needed.
Yeah. So this Bahamut here should be no problem for Poydrak. And we'll get 200,000 experience for his troubles, and I would imagine a couple more levels on everybody.
That's not gonna hurt. He might be approaching a little bit of concern with Sid's agility, but Sid is such a low agility character, you usually don't have to worry about his level. I think there was a moment of realization there for Patrick. He picked it up so fast, but then he did that little pause, I think, where he realized what he just got.
Yeah, he's like, wait, crystal. Wait, that's the crystal. Okay.
Yeah, now you might check what you have stats-wise, just to be sure things are lined up well. And with the save in place, you can go on to fighting Zaramos. Now there's good information. Kate Sith learned tonight that now he knows sirens don't work in hidden passages, which is not something I knew either.
No, that isn't something I knew either.
All right, here goes Poydrak. Taking on Zaramos. Yeah, that's just what one of these seeds can do to you when you gotta keep looking and looking and looking.
And again, so this might be a little slower for Podrak than we've seen mostly, but this should be a relatively safe fight as long as Sid's agility didn't get too sky.
Yeah, you got a lot of leeway with Sid's agility. Even at 50, I'm not sure he's high in the double digits at that point. And he's probably coming in here with the best levels that anyone has had. But he doesn't have Edward with the spoon, and we really didn't see one of the top weapons for Sid in this one. I think he's using that ogre axe.
Yeah, now that you mention it, we didn't even see a poison axe, I don't think.
little surprising on T4 to never get a Rune Axe. What are the odds of getting the same sprite twice in a row? Getting worse all the time.
Indeed, but I'm pretty sure that I'm pretty sure that's something that if you play this enough, you're going to see that once or twice. I think I've seen a couple of Z sprites the same back to back.
Reflected Cure 4 gives the little bit of HP back, but usually not too bad.
Yeah, no, not with nukes and whites being bounced off and slamming.
It was kind of interesting how the equipment played out with this. I mean, you're obviously not going to complain about a seat where you got Bahamut for Rydia, but really what you would have considered a lot of the top tier equipment we just did not find.
Yeah, agreed. Only one adamant armor, only one Stardust Rod. We only saw one life staff. I think we saw 2 white armors, or white robes, I should say. But yeah, the upper
no
tier.
heroine, no.
Nope, no sorcerer robe. I don't think.
And that is a GG for Podrak 21742. Hopefully we'll get him for a few words. My first question is, what time is it there? And while we wait for him, just again, thank you to everybody who has spent your evening with us. Thank you so much, Maggie, for sticking with it with the Tracking Conquers. Doing the restreaming tonight. Restreamers make the world go round. Podrak, GG.
I honestly can't say good game to myself now. I played horrible. Horrible.
So talk us through this a little bit. When you saw the flags, did you think that the moon was excluded?
For some reason, my mind was going to only Earth and summon monster bosses. The moon seemed out of play for me for some reason. I'm pretty sure the reject percent, which I thought this was K1.5. I'm not too sure why I was thinking that.
Yeah. Well, that would do it. By the way, what time is it for you right now?
For me, it is almost 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, so I want to give the man his props for that, because that means he started this like 3 a.m.
Yeah, and I have been very ill recently. I shouldn't have really been doing this at all, but I wanted to get some practice in before the World Series of Free Enterprise started, and yeah, this has been an eye-opener a little bit.
All right, well, I'll ask if you have any final thoughts, and then we'll let you get some rest.
There's no final thoughts. It's just I'm sorry that I've led everyone on a merry chase and that I played honestly really bad. I'm just really sorry for that. It should have been so much better. It should have been so much faster. It should have been everything better. Yeah. So yeah.
All right, well, you've been a staple of these Monday night events, and thank you for that, and good luck with the World Series.
Yeah, have a good day.
We also have Day 10 finishing in the 23rd spot. And I think with that, Z-Man, I'll ask if you have any final thoughts so we get set to host some Dragon Warrior Randomizer.
No, I mean, I just want to just again reemphasize just how well Simbu played this seed, and that if anybody happened to come in here halfway through, or wondering why there's a 20-minute difference between first and second place in this race, I really urge you to go check out this VOD once it's posted and just watch the mastery with which Simbu played this seed. It was just unreal to watch.
And again, thank you to all of you who joined us this evening. If you're in the mood for more Randomizer, we've got Dragon Warrior Randomizer League going on Randomania 2. Send things over that way. Thanks, everybody. Hope you have a great rest of the night.
Have a good night, everybody.